Hi, I'm Sophie, and welcome to my world. Well, summer is right around the corner, and for me, as a party planner, one of the things that we get asked to do a lot is corporate picnics and summer parties for big corporations. And what that means is I, as a party planner, take a team and we set up all these amazing crafting tables for 100 to 600 kids at a time. It's super, super fun. And you know what happens is a lot of it, because it's a summertime theme, they go for a beach sort of a theme. Well, one of the things that I love to do when I have a real beach is what I call plaster sand casting. You're on a beach, and what you do is you get the wet sand and you put either a seashell or a big stone or something really neat, or even like an animal footprint, and you actually make a plaster cast of that thing. Well, we don't have a beach at a lot of these corporate parties, and so I started looking around for something that I could use instead that would give the same sort of feel of the beach, but that I could take with me to these picnics and parties. And so I was looking around for stuff, and I was at Joann's, and I found this stuff. It's called Sands Alive. And what's cool about it is that it actually, it has like it's almost like a cross between real sand and Play-Doh, and it kind of holds shapes. And I've discovered that it makes a really great base for plaster casting. So I'm going to teach you how to use this Sands Alive to make a plaster cast. And I'm going to teach you how to do it right now. Okay, for this project, you're going to need a lot of stuff. So let's start at the front here. You're going to need plaster of Paris. Plaster Paris you can purchase at the hardware store. It's usually in the painting section. And I've got my Sands Alive here. And the Sands Alive comes with the kit that I got, 1.5 pounds, which is plenty. And then I've got a Ziploc bag, just a regular sandwich bag. I've got a plastic plate. I've got a measurement for 2 ounces and a measurement for 1 ounce, scissors, the center of a duct tape roll. This is going to end up being my form in which I place my plaster Paris. I'm going to be needing something that I'm going to be making my little mold from, and that is, I've got this cute little eraser that looks like a ice cream cone. I'm also going to be painting mine, so I'm going to be using a little tiny paintbrush, and this is liquid watercolor. You can also use food coloring if you would like. So when I'm all done, I'm going to be needing to scrub it off, and so I've got a little scrubbing brush here. I'll be using some water, definitely going to be using water, and then I've got a little ribbon to create my final holder frame around it, around my whole thing. And then I've also got my glue gun, but that's going to be the very, very last step. All right, so first things first, let's clear the area so that we have a place to work. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper plate, and I've actually got 2 here so that I can get a nice smooth surface. I'm going to take my Sands Alive. Now, wait till you see this stuff. This stuff is really neat. So see, it kind of has this really cool, almost clay-like feel to it, so it's really fun to play with. You're going to want about, I would say, about almost like a ½ pound of it. And you're just going to spread it in there, almost like you would like a pizza, like you're making a pizza. And then you can use your other plate on top to kind of smoosh it down. You don't have to do this if you don't want. You can just use your fingers, but the plate makes it nice and smooth. See how it makes that really nice and smooth? All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my eraser. Where did it go? Here it is. I'm going to place my eraser right in the middle here, and I'm going to push it down as hard as I can. And I'm going to rock it just a little bit to make sure it makes a nice imprint, and then I'm going to pick it up. And you can see it's made a really, really nice imprint there. Then I'm going to take my center from my duct tape, and I'm going to just place it right over top. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to gently push it down. I'm not going down too deep, just a tiny little bit there. And now it's plaster time. Open up your Ziploc bag, take your plaster of Paris. You're going to want 2 ounces of plaster Paris and 1 ounce of of water. Pour that into your bag, and then just zip your Ziploc shut. Okay, now, move this over to the side here. You just start mixing. And you just mix with your fingers. Make sure that you get all that dry mixed in with the liquid so that you get your plaster of Paris all mixed up. It kind of looks like, when it's all done, like pancake batter. Sometimes you got to get into that little corner there and make sure that you don't have any dry in that corner. So just smoosh and smoosh. This is kind of fun. I like this. It's very tactile. Okay, then smoosh everything down to one end with your fingers so that it all drips to one end over there. And then take your scissors and just snip that corner off. Now, you want to take your plaster and bloop it in to your form. And you just want to smoosh it with your fingers so that you get all of that. So you use, I like to scissor my fingers. So I scissor my fingers, one on either side of the plastic, and I just push it down. Now you can actually do this at the beach. It's really fun, like if you see like bird footprints or dog footprints, you can do this at the beach. And what's great about it is you can just pre-bag your plaster ahead of time, and you can make it on the beach. And you can make more than 2 ounces here too. Now what I'm going to do is just do a gentle tap, 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 tapping. What this does is, can you see there's little bubbles being released there? It's going to release any and all bubbles. And it's also going to make sure that my plaster just kind of settles down right into the form. Now this takes about 25 to 30 minutes for it to dry really nice and hard. And so I'm going to tap it a little bit more. So what I'm going to actually do is jump ahead to one that I've did this morning. And here it is, and you can see it's all hard. You can hear that? You flip it over, and here's the greatest thing about this Sands Alive stuff. You peel it off just by using your fingers here, and you can reuse this again. You can play with it. See, it's still fabulous and wonderful and playable. Isn't that great? You can make more out of it, or you can use it for what it's really meant for, which is to play with. But you know me, I don't like to use anything the way it's supposed to be used. All right, now we want to release this from the mold, and we also want to get rid of any of the extra sand. So what I'm going to do is just pop it into the water there. And I'm going to use this brush to gently wipe away, scrub away any excess sand. Now check it out. Can you see the little ice cream cone? Isn't that cool? Now, if you soak this, get that cardboard nice and wet, and what you can do, let's get that. What you can do is peel this away pretty easily. Let me just make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, get that nice and wet. You could soak this if you wanted to for about 5 minutes. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to jump right ahead here and jump on in to show you what we're going to do. I'm going to move this water out. Okay. Now, should be moistened enough that I can just push it from the inside. And see, there it goes. It's starting to slide out. Now you can also save your form. Just dry it really good. Just let that get nice and dry. All right, now what I would really suggest to you is to let this dry really good. I'm actually going to keep going. But if I was to do this with a group, I would have them go do something else for fun while this dried in the sun. Okay, so now it's ready for the painting phase. I'm going to bring in my cardboard here to work on, because this kind of paint can get very messy. I love mess, but I don't want to get my towel all messy. Now this is just liquid watercolor. You can use your regular cake watercolors as well. And watch what happens. This is really kind of fun. I love how this works. It kind of bleeds. So it's really fun to do. I mean, you can mix colors if you wanted to, but see how it takes on this really soft, bleedy quality that I think is really fun. You can experiment with it and play with it. Now, when you get close to your raised artwork, you don't want to go all the way up to the edge. You just want to allow it to kind of bleed into that. So give it a little bit of space so that you don't want to go right up to the very edge of it, because it is going to bleed. You can see how it spreads out. That's what I mean by bleed. It spreads itself thin. And the reason for that is because the plaster of Paris is very porous, which means that it's got a lot of sort of like little air pockets inside, and this just kind of goes, seeps into it. So isn't that fun? So you can experiment with that. Now again, if I was doing this with a group, I would probably give myself some more time and let this dry really nice and solid before I attach the outer ring of ribbon. But I'm going to do mine right now just to show you how. So for this, I'm going to want ribbon that'll go around, and you just measure it around so that you know you have enough, and cut it off. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to tie a little loop. So I've folded it in half, and I'm just going to tie this off with my fingers. So I wrap it around. See, there's the hole. So let's show you one more time. You wrap it around and pull it through that circle to make yourself a little hanging loop. Now, be careful with your hot glue because you don't want to burn yourself. So just put a little bit of hot glue on the top part here to start you out. Hold your ribbon on the outside, not close to that hot glue at all, and then just slide the ribbon until the top, the loop here, is lined up with the top of your artwork. And now you can come back and come around about to the bottom. And if you take it and hold it by the end, you should be able to just lay that right on down and do it on the opposite side. You got a little of this, you got a little bit of this extra. Don't worry about that, because what's going to happen is we're going to double up a little bit. So I'm putting the glue around the outside there. Once again, using the ribbon. Now when they get to the end here, I'm going to cross one in front of the other and then cross them behind, and then just finish it off by bringing it up. And finish it off up here. And there you have the finished product, which is a plaster cast of our little ice cream cone. And you could hang this in your window, you could hang it on your porch as a decoration, you could hang it in your room. The neat thing about this is that the more you play with it, the more things that you'll be able to make. You can make handprints and footprints and all kinds of stuff. So go and get some of this Sands Alive and check it out. I think you'll be as intrigued with it as I am. For more fun ideas to do at the beach and beyond, check us out at sophie-world.com.